All right, Algebra, welcome back. We have one more section left. Only one section left for the entire chapter, and once we are done with that, we're going to have our review and test next week, and then it's nothing but projects to the end of the school year. As I said before, we're still going to have these weekly meetups where, not weekly, but every other day where we meet up and we talk about things. If you need to meet and talk, then that's what this is for. We're just going to kind of plow through till we get to the end of the school year. All right, so this last thing we're going to be talking about is trigonometry. Our basic trigonometry has three different ratios. They all kind of work with a right triangle. A right triangle is a triangle that has one right angle in it. We're going to say this is triangle RST. We'll say that's 8, that's 6, and that's 10. So now we're going to talk about our three different trigonometric ratios. There's sine, there's cosine, and there's tangent. All right, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. We're going to go over those in just a little bit. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. When we're talking about these trigonometric ratios, we're really only talking about the two angles that are not right triangles. That are not right angles. The hypotenuse is the one that's not part of the right angle at all. In this case, it's SR. It's the longest one. It's across from the right angle. This is hypotenuse. If we're looking at angle R, the opposite side is the one that's across from it, and the adjacent side is the one that's essentially next to it. For S, 8 is opposite, and 6 is adjacent. Hypotenuse is always 10. Always 10. It's also always the longest one. So if I say something like, in this case, what is sine of R? Well, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which in this case is 6 over 10, which is 3/5. Always simplify them. Always simplify them. If I were to say tangent of R, tangent is opposite over adjacent. R, opposite is 6, adjacent is 8, so it's 6 over 8. In this case, it's 3/4, because it's simplified. Or if I were to say cosine of S, here's S. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And so this would be 6/10 again, which is 3/5. And that's the basics of how to do it. Now there are a couple other things. You do need a calculator for the rest of the stuff. Your calculator should have sine, cosine, tangent. Sine, cosine should have these on them. So if I were to look at them and I were to say, okay, what is sine 32 of an angle of 32? Very simple. Sine, turn it on anyway, sine 32, and it's 0.5299. You can round to 4 digits, 0.5299. That's what sine 32 looks like. If I were to say something like, oh, tangent of 52, you press tangent 52. This is not tricky. This is not anything trying to trick you on this one. We just we press tangent 52, 1.2799, rounded to 4 decimal points. And the last one is cosine, let's say of 15, 0.9659. It's not tricky. It's nothing really trying to make you think extra hard. This is just typing in a couple of buttons. Now, the last part I want to talk about, we're not going to go into too much detail about this, but the last thing I want to talk about are if you have a couple of things and you just need to solve for part of the triangle. So let's say, for example, we have a triangle. And in this triangle, we're going to say that's 48 degrees, and that's x, and that's 14. We're going to make that look nicer. We're going to say that's 48 degrees. Okay. So we have to look at this and say, what do we have? Well, we have 48 degrees. We have the hypotenuse. We know that's going to be in the denominator, like that. And we have to know what the other one is. The other one is the opposite. So which trigonometric ratio has opposite and hypotenuse? Well, that is sine. So that's the one that we use. We use sine. It is abbreviated SIN. Of 48 is x over 14. This is what the trigonometric ratio looks like. So in order to solve for x, pretty simple stuff. We just multiply both sides by 14. 14 times sine 48 equals x. How do we do this? Well, again, we use our calculator. 14 times sine of 48. Very simple. Enter it, and it's 10.4. So in this case, x equals 10.4. 10.4. Now, we know that it's accurate because the hypotenuse is always going to be the longest side. And since we found a leg in this case, the opposite leg is less than that, then we're in good shape. And if we see one that looks like, let's say we have another one right here, and I'm going to say this one is 59 degrees, and that is 25, and that's x. Well, again, what do we do? What do we have? What do we know? We know we have something 59 degrees. We know that our hypotenuse, which is in our denominator, is x. And we know that the other one is 25. But what is 25 in relation to 59? Well, it is adjacent. So it's cosine. Cosine of 59 degrees equals 25 over x. Well, this is a little bit trickier. I'm going to show you the easy way after I show you how to do this. Well, x of cosine 59 degrees equals 25 because we multiplied both sides by x. Now we have to divide by cosine of 59. X equals 25 over cosine 59. So really what we did was we just switched these two. We just switch them. So if we have one in the denominator, if we're trying to solve for something in the denominator, we just switch it with the trigonometric ratio. And then, again, type it into the calculator. 25 divided by cosine 59, and it'll give us 48.54. So x equals 48.54. And the last one I want to talk about is one of these tangent ones. We go up here, we say, okay, let's take a look. We have, these are not drawn to scale, these are not drawn accurately, but they're just what I have. 36 degrees, 29, and x. Okay, so we know 36. Well, we don't have the hypotenuse. We have the opposite and the adjacent. Well, which one is that? That is tangent. Tangent of 36 equals opposite over adjacent. That's tangent. X over 29. Well, this is one of the easier ones. We multiply both sides by 29. 29 times 36, times tangent of 36 equals x. So, clear this out. We say 29 times tangent 36 equals 21.07. So x equals 21.07. And that's how those work. Now, a couple things that you need to know. If you are using one of these calculators, right here, you should see something that says DEG, means it's in degrees. If you are using a graphing calculator, you have to change things up in there. Usually I can change that when you're here. If you're having a problem with it, let me know and we can figure something else out. But it has to be in degrees. Normally your graphing calculator is automatically set to something called radians, which is more trigonometry, but that's not what we're using. We're using degrees. In class, I can do that in a second, but unfortunately, since I don't have one here, I can't really show you how to do it. So if you need help with that, please let me know, and we'll work on that throughout the next few days. Now, the good thing is this is not going to be due until Tuesday, the work that you have for this, so don't worry too much about that. Don't stress out over it, because you have about 3 extra days. Oh wait, do we have one?
May need batteries.
No, that's not the one that I use. Let me see. Does this? Yeah,
It needs batteries.
It needs batteries. So I may post up another one in just a few minutes to show you how to change it from radians to degrees on that one. So yeah. Any other questions? Just let me know, and we will talk soon. Bye.